That's a peaceful countdown. And like that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15 of the McGruder Files presented by Kingdom Cast. Tonight, right here, live from my apartment here in Lawrence, Kansas, deep in the heart of the University of Kansas, right here. That's right. While the Jayhawks tonight take on Cal Baptist, it's March Madness. And well, we're not really going to talk about March Madness tonight. We probably mentioned it at the end of the show, referencing our sponsor, but we'll get to that later on down the road. But anyway, tonight, this is, as you can see on the title at the bottom of your screen, this is the free agency edition of McGruder Files. We've seen a lot of moves. We're going to dive into them, the massive overhaul this offseason. I mean, we'll break down the biggest free agency splashes like landing Super Bowl 60 MVP, running back Kenny Walker III as the new lead back, the new lead dog, K9. We bolstered the trenches with nose tackle Kyrus Tonga, adding a tough safety who was also a rival with us before, who was also teammates in the past with Drew Tranquil and Alohi Gilman. Also explosive depth running back in Amari DeMercado. And then there's versatile slot cornerback Cater Kohu for the secondary, a.k.a. Darth Cater. That's what they called him down in Miami. Plus the blockbuster trade, snagging Justin Fields from the Jets, giving Mahomes a really good backup insurance with arm talent and the good legs to go with it, man. These moves reshape everything after, the losses of guys like Trip McDuffie to the Rams, as we broke down the last episode of McGruder Files. Then after that, Brian Cook went to the Bengals. Leo Chenal and Charles Omenihu went to the Commanders. Jalen Watson went to the Rams. Joshua Williams going to the Titans. And Isaiah Pacheco going to the Lions, man. Shout out to those guys. And also Gardner Minshew going to the Cardinals. The secondary and run game got hit hard, but at the same time, we rebounded with the run game. We just still need to address some key stuff within the secondary, mainly focus on the pass rush and the receiving room. But Brett Veach reloaded smartly with cap space and picks, and especially going into the draft, which is about I would say about like 3 weeks, 4 weeks away from now. While pro days are happening and players are taking their top 30 visits. Before I got on here, I just saw that Georgia tight end Oscar Delp is one of our top 30 visits that he'll be making with us. This guy just coming off of running a 4.46, 4.47 40-yard dash for a guy who's a tight end, really known as a blocker, inline guy, than really a receiver, but he's really a talented receiver as well. But I feel like a guy getting in our scheme who's a 6th round talent to now maybe being a 4th round talent because of that 40 and along with his skill set, what he brings to the table. So we're going to get more into that, and we're going to discuss how those free agency moves, for example, the additions of Walker and Tonga and those guys, see how that impacts what the Chiefs are going to do with the draft going forward. Especially with number 9 overall. Should the Chiefs really invest in a right tackle there to protect Mahomes long term, or pivot to cornerback, the edge, or another need like wide receiver? I mean, we'll wrap up after that with the mock draft 6.0 to map out the rebuild path, or basically the reloading path. Let's get into a Chiefs Kingdom, and I'll just start on the first big free agent signing for the Chiefs that started off all this. None other than the signing of Kenny Walker III, Super Bowl 60 MVP, joining the Chiefs to a 3-year deal, $43 million, up to about $45 million max, which is $28.7 million fully guaranteed, with a $13 million signing bonus, low cap hit this upcoming year, which is going to be $5.7 million, which is good, making him, the lead back and a massive upgrade from what we had for Pacheco. And I love Kareem Hunt and what Kareem Hunt did as a 3rd down guy, especially scoring those touchdowns, especially from the red zone. But I feel like finally this is the lead back we haven't had. And I know CJ on Tell the Truth said Damian Williams. I would say Damian with a little bit of Jamal there, man, especially what Jamal was able to do with being that consistent 1,000-yard rusher in his first 2 years with Andy Reid. And I kind of see that from Kenny, along with a little bit of that Damian Williams, where he's kind of built like Dame. But this is a huge signing for Kansas City. I never thought that there was a chance. We all thought ETN because we thought Walker would be more expensive. But I think the Chiefs got him for the same value that the Eagles got when they first signed Saquon Barkley. However, this is a cheaper deal compared to what Saquon got. And this is why I love this move, man. This is a big, big get for the Chiefs. You know, he brings the elite traits that fits perfectly for an Andy Reid West Coast scheme. I mean, the strengths that scream Chiefs fit. I mean, the pure runner, you know, from the 2022 draft class when he first came out, physical, north-south style, square shoulders, you know, through the holes, quick cuts upfield, especially with that speed of his. He has really good vision. I mean, there's some moments where he can misread certain holes, spots, cutbacks, you know, sets up, blocks beautifully. That's what he does very well. He has the instincts to bounce outside or to take what's there. The offensive line gives him great short area quickness along to go with that speed and the agility to dodge trouble behind the offensive line. I mean, always falls forward with a natural lean and balance through contact, you know, the yards after contact type of player. You saw what he did in the Super Bowl. You saw what he did in the postseason, especially 135 yards rushing in the Super Bowl, something that hasn't been done since Terrell Davis when he was with John Elway. And I know we don't like Donkey Nation, Broncos and all that, but that was a team I respected back then. And Terrell Davis was that dude, man. And, you know, y'all remember Chiefs fans when we had to deal with Elway and Terrell Davis when we played them. That's what we're going to see when you have two Super Bowl MVPs on the Chiefs with Mahomes and Walker. And in Andy Reid's zone-heavy scheme with the creative misdirection, the RPOs, and the play action, Walker is going to thrive as a downhill hammer for us who can explode for those chunk plays that we've been looking for a long time. Also, like what CJ also said on the show before, those Kareem Hunt-like plays that we saw his rookie year. I can't wait to see that, especially setting up the passing game. Working with Eric Bieniemy back, you know, as the offensive coordinator, the aggressive run caller, especially what you saw what he did in Chicago with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. When the Bears found him in the 7th round, you know, there's DeMarco Murray, our running back coach, you know, the former rushing champion for 2014. Expect massive growth from his weaknesses. I believe there's some concerns with him in the passing game. That's why you haven't seen him do much in the passing game and did more in the run game. But I think the Chiefs are going to work with him with those tools. You know, there's some moments he's uncomfortable as a receiver, small catch radius, limited routes, EB's timing, especially with the offense and then what we ran before in the past and the quick screens and the checkdowns will get Kenny Walker III easy touches in space. You guys just watch that. Similar to like Jerick McKinnon or like Pacheco, because you know Pacheco, when he first came to the Chiefs, he wasn't used in the pass game. But then the next year, he started to see more. He started catching like 20 more passes than what he did his rookie year. I think you might see that in Walker. And I think that DeMarco Murray, knowing from his knowledge as a former rushing champion, he could drill the hands, you know, using his hands, catching the ball, protecting the rock, using the ability to run route stems and the body positioning to turning him into that reliable, maybe 30 to 40, maybe 50 catch guy on 3rd down. You know what I mean? And then there's also the blocking stuff. There's some issues with his blocking, as some people said, coming out of Michigan State. I don't know if the Seahawks have worked with him with that, but he's probably gotten better. But there's some passive, indecisive shoulder throws over squaring up. Murray's hands-on coaching, and he's been there before as a running back himself. And then Andy Reid's protection emphasis will build that aggression as a blocker, running back blocking, because that's the other skill set that we look for when you're trying to scout a running back, whether he's a pro or a rookie. Not only just the speed and the vision to cut back in the hands to protect the rock, especially seeing how much less fumbles you allow, and also durability. It's the toughness, not only the low center of gravity, breaking tackles, it's the blocking. How low can you go? Lowest man wins. They always say that in football. And the Chiefs will work with him with that. You know, his footwork, the decision, especially the speed making, that Walker is a pass pro asset instead of a liability. I think the Chiefs will try to turn him into an asset than the liabilities he's shown as a pass blocker. So my bold prediction, you could expect maybe another 1,000-yard season like he did last year. I mean, this guy rushed for 1,000 yards and pretty much less than what in snaps than Pacheco ran. I think Pacheco had like 459 snaps, and Walker had like 440-something snaps. I have to look it up again, or 489. But still, And Kareem Hunt played more snaps than him. Kareem Hunt played over like 529 snaps last season. Imagine if Walker played that same amount of snaps. You're basically looking at a 1,200-yard rusher in our scheme. 10 rushing touchdowns, maybe 300 receiving yards if the Chiefs really work with him as a pass catcher out of the backfield, and, a few more scores as a receiving back. That would make him definitely a top 10, maybe top 5 running back, especially with Mahomes when he comes back healthy, feeding him opportunities. This backfield gets explosive. It's gotten more physical and versatile, perfect for winning in January. And Walker has a resume for that. And what I get for Veach, now the run game anchors the offense again and brings us balance. So if teams want to look at if we're going to throw the ball, we'll make them, pick their poison. Are we going to run it with Walker, or we're going to throw it to Kelsey, Worthy, if Rice is still here, and whoever we draft? I mean, Carnell Tate, I don't know. But I'm really praying it's David Bailey or Ruben Bain. I'm just telling y'all right now, man. Anyway, staying in the backfield, the Chiefs made another running back move. But this might be competition for Brashard Smith, which is no problem here. And this was a savvy, low-risk, deft move by signing former Cardinals running back Amari DiMercato to a 1-year deal. Yes, this is the same guy that ran for that 72-yard touchdown run, but fumbled at the 1-yard line, and Jonathan Gannon got on him, and Gannon got fined for that. That was a piss-poor job by him, but however, there's some things y'all need to look at here. Jonathan Gannon ain't damn sure ain't no Andy Reid. And this kid, you don't know the type of running back coach he had. You don't know the type of system that they allow for those kids to act like that in Arizona. So there's a lot of factors that factor into all of that. So those are those things you got to consider. I actually like this move. I actually thought the Chiefs might bring back Kareem Hunt, right? They still might after the draft, especially if they don't feel comfortable with any of the running backs that are available, especially on day 3. I mean, there's definitely plenty enough talent on day 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs feel comfortable with having their guys stick around. But, DiMercato is 27 years old. He's an undrafted free agent coming out of TCU, low mileage with just 338 career carries in the NFL, but brings serious juice. A 6.5 year per carry average in his career. That's almost 7 yards per carry in his career, y'all. Think about that. On 126 rushing attempts. 126 rushing attempts. And then there's explosive burst of like a 16% double-digit runs. That was from Next Gen Stats. I mean, 50 career receptions for 324 yards, a proven pass protector with pass pro experience. Only 104 pass blocking snaps, but very low pressure numbers. He basically hasn't allowed a sack in those numbers. So that tells you that that's one of the things the Chiefs also been looking for. As I mentioned, a blocking running back, and he will bring that to the Chiefs, which is what I love here. He fits Andy Reid's scheme perfectly with Eric Bieniemy and DeMarco Murray as a change of pace RB2, change of pace third down specialist behind the lead dog K9. His speed, balance, his ability to catch the ball, and the ability to turn touches into big plays. You guys saw him in preseason. I think last season when he scored that big, running back screen, and he turned into a big touchdown run on us, which was embarrassing. Piss poor tackling by our defense there, but still, that's the skill set I bet you Brett Veach saw, said, if he's available next year, I'll definitely put that kid in our backfield. And here he is. So he's electric assurance. I mean, thin, quick screens. There's some good check down plays he shows, gadget snaps, and I think Andy Reid will definitely get creative work with him. There's also EB's aggressive run calls. There's once again, DeMarco Murray coaching him up, refining his footwork, reading blocks for more consistent downhill pop. And while his press pro upside helps in protection sets, as we all know, as I mentioned, he's going to compete with the 7th rounder, Brashard Smith, for RB2 snaps, or if they bring in any rookie. And I mean, we all know about what Brashard Smith did his rookie season. We wanted to see more of him, and you see the special teams value as a return specialist. But DiMercato's veteran flashes and efficiency gives him the edge over Smith for now. But with that being said, like I mentioned, I still think Brett Veach adds at least one more running back that at least the Chiefs carry forward like they did last season, including Elijah Mitchell. On day 3, there's, competition, depth options like Penn State's Katron Allen, a powerful, productive Big Ten leader, or his teammate Nicholas Singleton, explosive record-setting touchdown machine, also return specialist. Wake Forest is a demon, speed demon, Damon Claiborne. There's my personal favorite, who, if Jardarian Price and Jonathan Coleman weren't top 3, this guy would be my number 2 running back behind Jeremiah Love. Nebraska's Emmett Johnson, all Big Ten honors, also second-team All-American, right after Jeremiah Love got the unanimous first-team All-American. There's also the Indiana backfield that contributed to them winning the national championship. Kalen Black or Roman Hemby, late day 3 value with burst and blocking ability. They had to block for with the potential first overall pick, Fernando Mendoza. Late flyer ensures the room stays fresh and injury proof because there's a high rate of running backs getting hurt throughout the season. We all know that. We all seen the game. That's what I feel right there. I think this smart layering around, also with the addition of Kenny Walker, and now the run game has teeth at every level. And now, because of that, let's focus on the secondary. And losing Brian Cook to the Bengals hurts, as he was a key rangy piece to our defense, 2022, 2023. Well, he did get hurt, I believe, around 2023 in the first 6 games, and he got hurt. But 2024, he tried to make a return. I think 2024 was his best season, and this season was really probably his highest, greatest season according to Pro Football Focus. Show you his value as a safety. He's gone, but the Chiefs wasted no time replacing him by signing veteran safety Alohi Gilman to a 3-year, $24 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. Gilman is 28 years old. He brings proven production, 90 tackles, 9 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and even a defensive touchdown last season, splitting time between the Chargers before he was traded to the Ravens after, the midseason trade, as y'all remember. He's a very versatile guy across the board as a defensive back. A lot of free safety reps, box safety reps, playing some in the slot. Moreover, about 500 snaps at free safety last season alone. And that says a lot. That says that he's a chess piece in that defensive back room, especially among the safeties for Steve Spagnuolo. He's tough. He's instinctive, has that high motor. He's a great defender with that high motor, great effort, downhill physicality, solid zone awareness, high football IQ, responsible in coverage. You saw him around the ball every single time, similar to a player I haven't seen since, like, Troy Polamalu. While not the deepest, rangiest guy, limit length because he's 5'10", 200 pounds, he still has a good enough speed to play the single high roll. He's got good man skills. His tackling is there. Got very good multiple position, flexibility. He's definitely that ideal guy to step in as a starter right away. So what does this mean for Shamari Conner, if everybody's asking, right? Shamari is slated to start opposite him. But to me, this signing lights a fire. Connor's in the final year of his contract. We all know what the late, great Therese Paylor always said. The contract year stays undefeated. So expect him to elevate his ability to be better in coverage and physicality and playmaking to prove that he's worth staying in Kansas City at least, or prove his worth with other teams that will be looking at his tapes. Because I know after seeing his fellow teammates who were from the 2022 class, even though he's 2023, get that money, he's probably going to feel motivated as well. So competition, as y'all know, breeds excellence, especially in Kansas City. And under Dave Merritt, our defensive back coach, I think he's going to bring those aggressive and fundamentals first approach to him, especially to become a better safety. Then there's new safeties coach Andre Curtis, who's coached elite ball hawks like Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas in Seattle, Jamal Adams, and Quandre Diggs. Gilman gets very good elite guidance from those two to sharpen his vision, blitz reads, his communication to be a better communicator. I think Curtis's track record with the tough and smart safeties aligns perfectly with Gilman's high IQ, his relentless style. So expect him to thrive in Spag's scheme because of that. Adding the leadership, being the leader in that locker room that we haven't had since Justin Reed and the Honey Badger, and make those splash plays that will excite fans. So, and for depth and competition, as a result of the Gilman move, Beach, I think, is still looking at another safety, and especially a stud like my favorite safety in this draft, Ohio State's Caleb Downs. If he falls to number 9, I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know, I mean, this is a Ed Reed, Tyrann Mathieu hybrid in my eyes. Very instinctive, rangy, very good ball skills, and just physical. But there's also day 2, day 3 options. I mean, there's Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil Warren. There's Texas Michael Toffee, if that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, he's a very good safety. There's LSU's AJ Hulsey, or I need to pronounce some of these other players' names. I've been getting a lot of players' names like Francis Mawanoa, because I know the offensive tackle that people have been mocking in Kansas City. Those are those names, because it's always like you got to get those names right. But anyway, just work with me, people. Work with me here. So there's also TCU's Bud Clark, another favorite safety of mine. They all bring the upside to challenge and also to rotate in. And what I heard was Drew Tranquill took a pay cut to have his former teammate from the Chargers, Gilman, work out the deal with the Chiefs. And, that shows that leadership, buying in from vets to keep, reloading this defense. And the secondary reset is aggressive and smart here, especially with this move. And Gilman stabilizes the secondary for now while it opens doors for the youth to grow within the team and also adding more youth. While we still stay in the secondary rebuild, taking the major hits with the cornerback room. As I mentioned in the last episode, McDuffie traded to the Rams, but we did get a lot of draft capital in return. But then Jalen Watson is joining him in L.A. Signed a 3-year deal, I think about like $50 million, $51 million. That gutted our outside corner room, and it leaves big question marks after Watson's solid play. But enter Kader Kohou, a.k.a. Darth Kader. The 28-year-old veteran, the Chiefs signed post ACL recovery. He missed all of 2025 with that ACL tear with the Dolphins at their training camp last season, but was fully cleared early March, and he's ready to go. So this could be a steal, in my opinion, for Casey if he stays healthy. Before he got hurt, he was a consistent starter for 3 straight seasons for the Dolphins. There was even fans from the Dolphins urging him because, they just signed the former defensive coordinator from the Packers as a new head coach, and that's why Malik Willis is down there now. Fans were egging for him to re-sign Kader Kohou, and I read the tweets and even articles, and it makes me think why this could be a steal for us. This guy in those 3 seasons had very good, strong coverage metrics. 28 pass deflections across those seasons, one of just 12 cornerbacks with 8+ seasons or more, or less than that, right? He's also ranked number 6 in the NFL in yards allowed per coverage snap in 2024, along with a 76 passer rating allowed. And remember, when I talk about passer ratings allowed, to be considered a very good corner in this league, you got to be at least below 85. He had a 76 allowed. That says that he's probably one of the best corners in the NFL if he's healthy. He's a very good run defender, very good tackler, versatile enough to flex outside or blitz, which fits perfectly for what Spags likes to do with his nickel options or his cornerbacks when they want to send them on blitzes. We've seen McDuffie on blitzes. We've seen Snead on blitzes. We've seen Watson on blitzes. We've seen the Honey Badger in the slot on blitzes. But this is a low-risk, high-reward vet ad, in my opinion. Proven production, physicality, the slot reliability at a bargain price after, the injury year. If the knee holds up, he's young enough at 28 years old with a clean path back. I mean, he could lock down a nickel and provide immediate stability. And this move gives the Chiefs real confidence that Noel Williams will step up as a prime outside guy in his second year. very good playmaking ability, especially with his length and his ability to. I know he's trying to go for them picks. He's trying to go for those picks, man. He's trying to be the guy that he was at Cal in 2024 when he got those picks. He became an All-American. He's trying to show that. And sorry, man, I got somebody trying to call me right now. I can't take this call. But anyway, Kohu, he's going to handle most of the slot duties and everything else like that. And he's going to reduce pressure from himself and trying to cover inside matchups from Shamari Connor. And that's, speaking of Connor, this keeps him away from the slot, which is why I like this move as well. Sorry, I'm just sending this text real quick. All right, there we go. This keeps Shamari Connor from the slot, people. This is why I also like the move too. And the Gilman move. Chess, not checkers. This is a chess move of Connor focusing more just being a safety. And if let's say we add Caleb Downs, that probably means he's going to be safety 3. Or he might have to compete with Jayden Hicks. And we want to see more of Jayden Hicks, especially what he showed us in 2024 when he got 3 interceptions in about 400 snaps. So Connor can focus on safety or like those Dirty Dan hybrid roles, but competing without being pigeonholed in those safety roles when he played 1,000 snaps last year at the safety position or in the slot combined, which could help him out in his contract year. So with the outside still thin, look at outside cornerback options, high upside guys like Indiana's D'Angelo Pons. Yes, I know he's 5'8", but so is like McDuffie. Quick, man beater. That ability, despite the size, helped his team win a national championship while also playing one of the toughest positions, the left cornerback side, which is what the Chiefs are missing. I think Noah holds down the right side. Somebody got to be on that left side, bro. But anyway, there's also Mansour Delane, very good shutdown traits. There's also Avion Terrell, AJ Terrell's brother, a very good technician at the playing cornerback, who recognizes routes. Chris Johnson, one of the best corners in this draft class, also an All-American coming out of San Diego State. There's also Keith Abney II. There's Jamont McCoy at White House, Texas. Native like our MVP quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. These are guys who got first round, second round talent. There's also value on day 3. Guys like Southern Miss's Josh Moten. There's also Texas's Malik Muhammad. There's the Washington guys, Tarcario Davis. There's Ephesians Price Sock. There's also Alabama's Damani Jackson. They offer depth. They offer competition. Guys who are long athletes. They're press corners to develop behind Fulton, Williams, and Kader Kohu, along with Christian Roland Wallace, where some of y'all might not understand this. Even though he ran a 4.64 40, so did Josh Norman. Josh Norman dominated the outside. I always thought that Christian Roland Wallace should get some outside opportunities. But most people think he deserves to stay in the slot. And I think, it's a good idea to keep him and Kader in the slot as a way to keep Shamari Connor away. So, but right here, I want to talk about here as part of one of those free agent moves here. As we get in 28 minutes into the show, everybody, it's going to be probably a short show tonight, but it's all good. It's just all about free agency because everybody wants to hear, what my thoughts are. Everybody heard my fellow guys, Kingdom Cast, and their thoughts. But this move here, though, is probably one of my favorites, not named Kenny Walker. And it's none other than the addition of nose tackle Khyiris Tonga on a 3-year deal. This is a massive, disruptive force in the middle. And for me, he's the underrated gem that could quietly transform the entire defense, especially the front 7. Why, you say? Tonga's presence is a game changer for Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. CJ has been eating double teams and triple teams for years. Y'all know that. Now Tonga will help draw those heavy looks as a true 0-to-1 technique eater. That frees up Jones and Karlaftis one-on-one to deal with their one-on-ones, to get home off the edge with cleaner rush lanes, more pressures, more sacks, more chaos up front. But it's not just for the pass rush. This is a huge win for linebackers Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil as well. so they can shoot through their gaps and clean up runs because Tonga is anchoring, clogging the lanes, and controlling blockers at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. Less cutback space, more negative plays, more tackles for losses for our linebackers. It's a ripple effect that makes the whole front seven faster and more aggressive in Spag's scheme. Then you got to look at his run stuffing ability, his quick get off. I mean, he's about 6'2", 6'3", 332 pounds, but that's all. That 332 is muscle. You know what I mean? It makes him a perfect complement to Chris Jones, or let's say with Omar Norman Lott, especially when they all rotate in. I think he makes the job easier for, let's say, Gelati and Udike Uzama when they get back, especially Udike Uzama when he gets back on the field. I mean, and yes, watch out, NFL. He's our emergency fullback in heavy sets. Short yardage beast mode incoming. He's wearing number 92, just like Don Tari Poe. We tried to do that with Colin Saunders, but maybe finally this time around, we'll probably try to do that. With the front seven still needing depth after losing some pieces, right? The Chiefs will need to absolutely look to add more depth because the pass rush is still a concern in most people's eyes, as y'all know, especially the interior. Probably need to add at least one or maybe two more guys to the interior. I mean, we need somebody who's going to replace Jerry Tillery or somebody that will bring us that productive three technique that we haven't seen since Alan Bailey's and the Turk Whartons, especially when Turk left us for the Panthers after having that 6.5 sack season in 2024. Those type of guys to rotate in for us. I mean, guys to look out for, the Peter Woods are out there, the Christian Millers from Georgia, the Grayson Holtons. There's Navy's Landon Robinson, even though he's 5'11", 293. I don't care. That guy's a monster. All right? And I would get him and make him another, like, Wharton signing because Wharton was an undrafted rookie free agent. So don't be surprised if Robinson becomes an undrafted rookie. If I'm the Chiefs, that's the first phone call I'm making. I'm sorry. There's also Rayshawn Benny from Michigan. There's also one of my favorites in this draft, Zane Durant, who is my comparison of Turk Wharton coming out of Penn State, similar build, size, 4.76 40-yard dash. Those three technique guys. Or if the Chiefs want to add another nose tackle, but with more athleticism or upside to be a very good pass rusher, there's Caden McDonald, probably the best run defending defensive tackle in this draft class. There's Tim Keenan III from Alabama. There's our guy, Caleb Banks, but we don't know if he'll be available, especially with his foot injury. But I heard that he worked out through that foot injury. So that's a freak athlete right there. Last player that we picked up who worked out through the foot injury was Jalen Royals. And hopefully Royals is healthy, ready to go and show a lot more this upcoming year. There's also Daryl Jackson, the junior from Florida State. And there's also Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Guys with twitch, the size that can spell Tonga and also keep the rotation fresh. This signing locks down the middle right now, y'all, as y'all need to understand. And it sets up the draft to build around it. Tonga might be the quietest, most impactful move Veach made this offseason. And let's keep that momentum going. And next up, we're going to talk about the edge market. And as we all know, before we get to the quarterback news, the big news that everybody wants to talk about why they're excited about this team in this offseason, is a quick hit on our edge room. We need to do better with the edge room. The Chiefs took another loss when the Minihue joined Leo Chenal in Washington. That leaves a clear void opposite George Karlaftis. We don't know about Ashton Gelati. We don't know if Udike Uzama is really to explode because he's also in a contract year as well coming up here. Because I know the Chiefs are not picking up that fifth-year option. But we missed out on opportunities of going after guys like Odofe Owe. There's Jalen Phillips. There was Bradley Chubb. But those guys went after crazy deals that I know the Chiefs were like, take our chances in the draft, or probably a veteran with, who could take, a good deal, approve a deal. The edge market was absolutely wild. Jalen Phillips locked down $30 million per year from the Panthers. That's a lot of money. But just the prices skyrocketed. And Beach wisely avoided overpaying those players in this class. And of course, there's, Cameron Jordan as a name that's out there. I mean, the Chiefs still probably look to add that, as I like to use, Moneyball analogy, right? Undervalued veterans like the David Justices type of players, who could still produce in a rotational, situational role. Think guys like, there's Joey Bosa still out there. And, like I mentioned, Cameron Jordan, who, had 10 and a half sacks last year at 36. There's Von Miller, who had, I believe, 9 sacks, even in limited capacity. There's Jadeveon Clowney, who also had 9.5 sacks last year with the Cowboys. You can bring these guys on 1-year deals. They're low risk, high upside, adds to the mentor, also could help Carl Loftus out and help also be a mentor to whoever we draft with picks number 9 or number 29. Don't be surprised if we use both, or maybe 9, 40, or 29 and 40 for an edge. You never know. Inject some youth there. I mean, praying to God that Ruben Bain or David Bailey would slip to us. There's also TJ Parker from Clemson. There's also, who had a great year in 2024. He had a down year last year, but I think he's a clear upgrade over Charles Omenihu, in my opinion. There's Keldrick Falk. There's Akeem Mesidor, Ruben Bain's teammate. There's also Zion Young, who could be there at number 29. The Chiefs want to go that route. All these guys are explosive, twitchy pass rushers that could pair perfectly with Jones, with Carl Loftus up front. There's also the smart patience in free agency, being aggressive in the draft, the old classic Veach approach. So now let's shift to the biggest headline of free agency, and that's none other than the trade for Justin Fields, who is our new quarterback too, coming right after Gardner Minshew signed with the Cardinals. The Chiefs sent the 2027 6th-round pick to the Jets, with the New York Jets covering $7 million of the $10 million that's guaranteed. So the Chiefs will pay $3 million while the Jets are paying $7 million. So that's a win-win for us. This is the second time we've done this in a row. We did it last year when we signed Minshew, when the Raiders were really to pay a lot of his portion of his contract. We paid him pennies last year. And Minshew's now getting $8 million, basically $7 million more than he made last year with us. So, hey, congratulations to him. But this move here to me is a low-cost, high-upside swing for backup insurance. I know Nate Taylor said it too. By default for now, until we hear news about Mahomes, he's our quarterback 1 for now. And I had no problem with it. He's 27 years old with 6 NFL seasons under his belt. I mean, 6'3", 217. He brings elite traits that scream potential in Andy Reid's system, especially knowing Andy's record. If you looked at – there's 2 seasons I looked at, 2024 and last season with the Jets. I mean, his bread and butter is the short accuracy game. I mean, very much kind of like Alex Smith. That's one of the things that helps him stay as a reliable quarterback. He can manage games, take what the defense gives him. He can move the chains efficiently, like Mahomes, especially if Mahomes were to return week 1. I mean, his deep ball is solid on a relative scale. He lofts it over defenders sometimes well and rarely misses wide open guys downfield, though he'll occasionally make some bad decisions. They might creep in every once in a while. He has very good arm strength. I think it's really good. One of his best assets is his arm. I mean, he can make every throw with zip and touch. I mean, the decision-making, though, remains the biggest area for growth for him. Some boneheaded plays sometimes, forces it into tight windows. I mean, he can make good throws in tight windows, but there's sometimes with the decision-making of throwing those windows, it could be over-aggressive and result into something bad. That's where Big Red, Eric Bieniemy, Joe Blakemeyer, our pass game coordinator, and quarterback coach David Garrardi could clean him up there. The mechanics are servable. I mean, not perfect, a bit bouncy footwork there because he does have very good footwork, but he's good enough to deliver accurately. And he's shown it over the last 2 years. I think his accuracy has gotten better, especially when he got with Mike Tomlin. I feel like that was proof that year that he was more accurate. And of course, the mobility. It is his superpower. I mean, dynamic runner who extends plays, scrambles for first downs, and thrives on rollouts, RPOs, and play action. Reed's system will maximize those legs, similar to like what you saw from Alex Smith, and even when you see Mahomes go on those runs. So imagine if we had him last year over Minshew, over Ola Duncan. I mean, I think this guy would have put up 500 yards passing. He probably would have thrown 3 touchdown passes, maybe throw at least 1 interception, maybe 2, but that's still better than what we had from our backups. I think he would have at least scored a rushing touchdown or 2, probably put up 200 yards rushing. But I think he could basically have about a total of 1,000 yards, basically like 800 yards, depending on how long Mahomes is out, 4 or 6 touchdown passes, 1 or 3 interceptions, probably looking at 150, 200 yards rushing this year in those 1 or 2 touchdown runs, especially where I see Andy utilize him just like when he first brought Mike Vick to the Eagles with McNabb. Don't mean Mahomes is being replaced. No, he's not. Okay, people, let's get out the way, all right? We're using him on special moments like 3rd and 1, quarterback sneaks, because the last time the Chiefs ran a quarterback sneak was when Mahomes got hurt in that Denver game in 2019. So we're probably going to open that back up. And here's the thing. His arm and his wheels give him the gadget play upside in design runs and the quick game packages that we run. If Mahomes stays healthy, Fields is just the primary insurance, bro. If he's not available for week 1, though, Fields is going to manage the game and keep things afloat with those short to intermediate throws while leaning on the run game and the defense. The staff will hammer the decision-making and the pocket poise and film study for him and work with him on the field and turning those mental errors into smarter Reed-style choices, big red-style choices. At $3 million, this is a steal for me for a quarterback with starter pedigree and elite traits. I mean, he went 4-2 as a starter with the Steelers. And, of course, he was sharing snaps with Russell Wilson, and thank God we did Russell Wilson. I did not want to hear Chiefs Kingdom, let's ride. Come on, man. I did not want to hear that. I would rather, yes, Justin Fields here. I would rather see Justin Fields run the ball 100 times and only have like 1 completed pass for like out of 4 than to see Russell Wilson in the backfield. I'm sorry. I just don't want to see Russ, man. Just don't want to see Russ. Second, like, yeah. Yeah, man. I feel you there, G. But anyway. So wrapping up the offense before we hit the draft deep dive, let's talk about familiar faces that are coming back as well. You know, Travis Kelce, as we mentioned, he is back for what could be one more ride with Big Red. Now with Bieniemy back and Coach Tom Melvin, the tight end coach, plus the re-signing of Tyquan Thornton. Now with wide receiver coach Chad O'Shea. Travis Kelce, you know, he's back with the Chiefs for 2026, turning 37 this October, but still the ultimate security blanket for Mahomes and also Justin Fields, who I think Justin Fields would trust after a down year in production, likely due to the injuries and, you know, scheme tweaks. I think Kelce's return means continuing with what he did, trying to pick up where he left off. I mean, Andy Reid's red zone wizardry, you know, EB's timing routes, especially those quick passing game things that we're going to work on. And then you got Melvin, who teaches the blocking and alignment drills, is going to get him back to, you know, being about that 800, maybe 900-yard guy. He doesn't have to be that 1,000-yard guy. Just at least being 700 yards, at least 6, 8 touchdowns, maybe 5 touchdowns in a healthier setting without relying on him too much. And then you got Walker leading the run game that opens the underneath windows for Kelce and the receivers. And then you got Kelce's football IQ, his route ability, even for his age, the chemistry with Mahomes. It makes him irreplaceable, bro. But you're going to expect him to continue to be the mentor towards, you know, Noah Gray if he's still on the roster. You know, this coming year, Jarrett Wiley, Jake Bringstool, while still being, you know, tight end one in big moments. I won't be surprised the Chiefs looking at his successor in this draft coming up here. There's then Tyquan Thornton coming back, re-signed. Huge for depth and upside with the opportunity to be wide receiver 3, maybe wide receiver 2 in our scheme. You know, he had a breakout year last year. Only 19 catches, but for 438 yards, 3 touchdowns on just 368 snaps. He showed the elite speed, that 4.27 speed, and that vertical, just being that vertical threat. Now with Chad O'Shea, who's a proven developer of route polishing and having the ability to beat press with using certain press beating techniques. Thornton expands. He's going to have probably cleaner releases now. He's going to have a better route tree variety. I think he's going to have better hands against receivers that's going to jam him at the line of scrimmage. I think you're going to see him being utilized in the yard after catch game instead of just being that vertical threat all the time. Let's say if he plays 400 plus snaps, you can see them go from 19 to maybe 30, maybe 40 catches, maybe 600 yards, maybe 5 touchdowns, becoming a legit wide receiver 3, you know, who stretches the defenses alongside Worthy, Rice, if he's, you know, available in 2026, and also Jalen Royals, who probably has to step up this upcoming year. I feel like O'Shea's coaching will fix his raw edges and turn him into a consistent deep threat and gadget weapon for us. It's also with his value as a return specialist. So, and before we get to the draft, let's have that quick thing. It's a quick thought I got to put out here, people, because I've been hearing and seeing from national pundits in the NFL, even Daniel Jeremiah, shout out to him, but we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one, my guy. With these offensive pieces that we got locked in, we need about 11 veterans. No, 11 players. We got 9 draft picks. So that leaves probably 2-3 impactful veterans out there, and then use our 9 draft picks, right? Drafting an offensive tackle at number 9 or even number 29 doesn't even make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. Unless the Chiefs like those guys and they fell at 29, or they like, hey, you know, let's get Max Heiniger from Arizona State or Blake Miller at 29. If that's what they feel comfortable with, oh well, right? But I think those guys, I just don't know, man. And let me just tell you why, people. I mean, the Chiefs go that route, fine. But I feel like that's a waste of resources. But Philip, oh my gosh, you want to have the best offensive line? Like, yes, I want to have the best offensive line, but it's never going to be perfect because then you got to pay these guys. And you fans, you already know it's already a headache to pay these guys. We weren't going to pay Leo Chenal $8 million a year, which he's receiving in Washington now. No, especially after you just paid Kenny Walker $14 million per year. And then on top of that, you're already paying another offensive lineman, offensive tackle, $15 million this year, Jalen Moore. I'm not letting $15 million to go to waste on the bench because y'all want to draft a guy who has the potential to be an all-pro tackle. But Dan Jeremiah said, like Spencer Fano, or if it's Francis Malinois, they might kick in at guard because they don't have the arm length. Just like what they were saying about Ruben Bain with his T-Rex arms. We don't even know if that is true. Let's just be real, people. Jalen Moore is being paid $15 million. You know why? He was paid that since last year where the Chiefs planned it already. You're really to come in to replace Jawan Taylor because there was those left tackle options. When Josh Simmons was there, that's when it shifted saying, yeah, Moore's going to be the replacement for Jawan. We're going to get Josh Simmons. And, yeah, we all know there's a question mark if Josh is going to stay healthy. Let's pray that he stays healthy this year, but I have a good feeling that he will. Let's just hope so. That's why I made the comparison to Brendan Albert. They're both the best left tackle in the NFL when they're healthy. There's durability concerns. It's just part of the game. It's just always about trying to find a way to overcome that and try to play through that. So with Jalen Moore, who I think is ready to step in, especially in the direction that you're going with the run game, and you added Kenny Walker and Amari with Brashard Smith. And then you got Kyrus Tonga, who plays some versatile fullbacking snaps. And don't forget, Jalen Moore stepped in at a pinch for a well-known run-blocking left tackle by the name of Trent Williams in San Francisco, which they ran a West Coast scheme, but they had a little more run than passing. So what does that tell you there? Trust the process. He's got quick feet, a solid pass pro ability. Veach won't burn premium capital on another tackle when Moore's deal demands that he starts, and he proves it. On $15 million this year. I'm not going to let that go to waste if I'm Brett Veach. That's $15 million worth of offensive tackle. You better use it like Julius from Everybody Hates Chris would say. Boy, that's a $15 million offensive tackle. You better use it. Man, I don't know anything about value, man. Jesus. Instead, wait for value on day 2. Like guys like Emil Wagner from Notre Dame. There's Ernest Green III from Georgia, who's a powerful anchor. He might be 6'4", but I think he has right tackle future all over him. There's the guy whose name I can't pronounce from Wake Forest, who's Samoan. I think it's like Faimo. Don't know how to pronounce it, but he's one of those guys too. I saw what he did at the Shrine Bowl. He's a guy that I like. There's also Demetrius Crownover from Texas A&M. These are guys who could come in, compete, red shirt, or be the swing tackle while Moore holds down the right tackle spot. So there you have Moore, Ace Pole, and that rookie pick, death for battle. Not wasting number 9, not even 29 on the right tackle. Number 40, okay, especially if Blake Miller and the Heiniger are still on the board. I would do that. This keeps the offense explosive, balanced. Kelsey with Thornton coming back, smart cap allocation. Now let's roll into the final segment of the night, because this is just a free agency edition, everybody. Just want to give you my thoughts. Now, because of these free agency moves, this is how I think the draft might shape up to be. Here's Mock 6.0. So now, as y'all can see, the Chiefs still need help at wide receiver. With 9 picks coming up in the draft, this is how I look at it. If I'm Kansas City, number 9, David Bailey are gone here. I use the Pro Football Focus mock draft formula. David Bailey's gone in this one. Ruben Bain's gone. Of course, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, those guys are gone. And Caleb Downs is gone too. So I have to go with the quintessential choice here, no-brainer, Carnell Tate at number 9, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's a rising star in this class, often mocked in the top 10, 15 ranges because of he's a big physical boundary receiver. Even though he ran a 4.54, that don't mean nothing. Jackson Smith and Jigba ran something like that. This guy's a route running freak. Excellent contested catch ability guy. A route runner. We need a pure route runner. This is the guy right here. You could take him already. He will be instantly wide receiver 2, who will be wide receiver 1 at the end of this season. That's what I believe about Carnell Tate and his upside for the Chiefs. He'd give Mahomes a reliable outside threat to complement Rice and those guys, especially this upcoming year, especially going into the future to being the number 1 guy, especially if he takes over as the number 1 target once Kelsey leaves. PFF gave me an A for this one. Great value here, especially if he's there, because there are some people that might even take him in the top 5. But let's just hope that he might be there. Praying. So this is how I look at it at number 9. David Bailey, Ruben Bain, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, maybe Jordan Tyson, or nothing. That's just me. Anyway, we moving on. At pick number 29, part of that, talk about edge rushing help. Let's say the Chiefs add Cam Jordan, or let's say Von Miller, right? Maybe Joey Bosa. I don't know. if he doesn't want to join his brother over there in San Fran. We still need pass rushing help. And adding a guy like TJ Parker at number 29 from Clemson, this guy is a powerful, versatile rusher who could step in as rotational starting replacement for Charles Omenihu. Very good, strong production upside. Even though last season it was a dip for him, 2024 was his best season, 11 and a half sacks, man. And this makes him a very nice day one ad for Spagnola's front. Got another A for this one. And I'd be a huge fan of this. So first two picks, Carnell Tate at 9. Number 29, I got TJ Parker. Now we move on to pick number 40. I was shocked that he was available at number 40. And it's none other than TJ Parker's teammate, defensive tackle Peter Woods, who went from a top 10 prospect to now getting put in the second round at number 40. This is a steal, as I would call it. Woods right here, bro. I mean, as you see it right there, the A+ grade, the fact that he was there at number 40, that's why I had to take him. Top 10, top 20 talent preseason. Even some called him the best defensive tackle. But I feel like that down year and then also not working out at the combine probably hurt his stock. But it's good for Kansas City here, bringing him with TJ Parker to team up with Chris Jones and Carl Loftus and Tonga. I mean, this right here gives Kansas City everything that you're looking for. I think the first three moves, especially the last two, you already boost that defensive line. I already see a better defensive line with those two right there, the Clemson teammates. There's an A+ move, huge value here with the run defense and also in the interior pressure to get sacks. Like this move. This is like getting Jalen Carter in the second round. And I like the move here. At pick number 74, I choose our Kelsey successor in Max Clare out of Ohio State. So you do first Clemson teammates, and then I get Ohio State teammates coming together to Kansas City. Offense and defense, right? Offense from Ohio State, the defense of Clemson, front seven from Clemson. A smart developmental pick here, tied into eventual Kelsey successor, especially going in 2027. Claire is a polished route runner with good hands who competed against elite talent at Ohio State. He could push Noah Gray for that number 2 spot immediately and grow into more. Forget the C+ grade by Pro Football Focus. He'll grow into a better player where that will turn into an A+ grade, in my opinion. Who cares what Pro Football Focus says there? We found our guy. He's also a better blocker than Noah Gray. So start off as an inline guy. He'll develop it to probably the all-around tight end that fans would covet. At pick 109 here, we need somebody to replace Leo Chenal at the Sam position. And Alabama's Sam linebacker, Deontay Lawson, is that guy. He brings the athleticism, the cover skills as a Sam. Alabama linebackers often translate well, as y'all know. Some might not, but this addresses the depth, especially at the Sam position. He already is going to be a special teams contributor with the starter potential traits there. Got a B+ from it, so Pro Football Focus understand why, because we needed somebody to replace Leo. So that's why I like this move. This is a solid mid-round value right here. Pick 146. We missed on Bud Clark, missed on Caleb Downs, McNeil Warren. So I go with the guy from Texas, Michael Taffe. This is like getting Earl Thomas in the 5th round, even though Earl Thomas was the far better athlete. Let's just say this is the first Texas All-American safety since Earl Thomas. And he is very rangy. I think he had like below 60 passer rating last year in college football, which earned him All-American honors for Tech from coming out of Texas. If the Chiefs missed on these guys, especially like the Jalen Kilgores, who brings that versatility as a safety and a slot defender, this is why you add a guy like Michael. He's rangy. I think he'll probably be like a big-time steal pickup here as well. So then I go to pick 167, cornerback Tacario Davis from Washington. Even though some might say Ephesians Prysock might be the better athlete, better overall corner, the athleticism of Davis is intriguing, where the Chiefs might say we could turn him into a star here. He's lengthy, he's fast, talented corner who could compete with Fulton to be that Watson replacement. You know the Chiefs always taking flyers on the late round corners and turn them into stars. If we don't go to Carl Davis, there's maybe Josh Moten in the 6th round, maybe, if the Chiefs want to go that route. But those are one of those long-rangy corners that will get their hands on the ball that the Chiefs need to look at with those traits that often pan out as depth pieces that probably become big-time players. You saw what Watson did, and he was a former 7th rounder. Richard Sherman was a 5th-round pick. He's one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time. You know, you got to find those type of players. So then we go to pick 176. I get one of the Indiana running backs to compete for the running back 2 spot. And this guy's a freak athlete from the top 100 college football freaks list of 2025. Running back, oh, yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, bro. Kalen Black from Indiana. He was a big part of them winning the national championship. Freaky athleticism, great depth, competition. I think that this would make Amari DeMarcado and Brashard Smith play at their best. But then you have a very valuable running back room with Walker, Black, DeMarcado, and Smith. He had speed and explosiveness and showed some good blocking ability. He's strong, very good low center of gravity. That's what the Chiefs coveted in the guy. That's what the Chiefs got at Pacheco. I think there's some similarities to him and Pacheco, but better vision than Pacheco. That's all I got to say about why I like this move here. And last but not least, to finish it off, one of the offensive tackles I brought up. And, yeah, I can't pronounce his name, but probably after the show, I'm going to do my research on how to pronounce these players' names. But Fa'ili Fa'ami, that's probably how you pronounce it, from Wake Forest. This guy's a tackle project. He dominated at the Shrine Bowl in practice and in the game. I think he's one of those guys that could come in and compete at right tackle. I got a C+ grade here because let's say if he was in the 7th round and available, this would probably be an A move, but still good. He would probably come in and compete with Jalen Moore and S.A. Pole. I mean, Chiefs always take their chances on late round offensive linemen. Trey Smith, Nick Algoretti, contributor. This is always smart for battle trenches. So overall, with this draft here, this draft prioritizes premium positions, the wide receiver, the edge. You never know. We might add 2 edges, 2 wide receivers. That's why I asked my guys last night on the main Kingdom Cast flagship show about what if we took the Packers approach, the 2022 Packers when they drafted Dobbs, Christian Watson, Torrey. I don't see us drafting 3 receivers when we got 9 picks, but I could see 2 wide receivers, probably 3 D linemen, 2 edges, 1 defensive tackle, maybe like that. But it ensures that we adding value to the rooms that really need help the most, and then we can go best player available with the other picks at certain parts of the draft. But with this draft here, you're prioritizing the main premium positions with the wide receiver, the defensive line room early, then build the depth with value, especially those Clemson guys and then Ohio State skill players, you know, and Pro Football Focus gave me an A- for this, you know, no suggestions either. They said this is a great looking draft from Pro Football Focus, means it's well balanced, no glaring reaches, no misses. Getting the Ohio State pair with the Clemson pair is a fun theme, and the late round swings, like the safety from Texas, Davis and Black, they add upside. So, yeah, man, that's what we got there. So, as we end the show, we got to have a quick word from our sponsors at our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. As you guys know, if you guys join Underdog Fantasy, look at the bottom of the screen. If you join now, use the Kingdom Cast code. That's all in bold letters, KINGDOMKAST. Type that into the code when you register for Underdog Fantasy. If you bet $5, with that code, you get $75 of bonus bets back. As you guys know, March Madness is going on, and probably right now KU is playing Cal Baptist. There's also Mizzou going against Miami tonight. You know, both regional teams fighting for their chance to try to go further in the big dance. Use, any props tonight. Who knows? Darian Peterson scoring 20 points. I mean, Mizzou to cover the spread or to pull off the upset on Miami, because some people have Miami. Some people also have Mizzou on their tickets. So, just use the promo code KingdomCast. Bet $5, get 75 in bonus bets back. Just use it for new customers. That's KingdomCast at the bottom. There you go. And then last but not least, our next and second sponsor, Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby. Forget about those monster drinks. Forget about the Red Bull, man. Dubby Energy Drink. As you see at the bottom, go to www.dubby.gg. And as you go there, join their newsletter. You'll get about 20% off of their products. They're not like monster drinks. They're healthier. I mean, you get different types of flavors, man. Like it's like they're like protein shakes where you just put it in there, shake them up. I mean, you got, just the s'mores, the Japanese soda blend. I mean, the Calio cream. That mug looks good to me, bro. I mean, these energy drinks right here, they are like a healthier monster. You'll have the energy, but also it keeps your mind sharp and focused. But you're still full of energy, especially if you're trying to get through the day, like taking some B12 right here. So this is like a B12 drink with some flavor, y'all. So give them a shout out, give them a look. Dubby Energy, www.dubby.gg. And then you join their newsletter, you get that 20% off. And with that being said, that is it for the special edition of the McGruder Files, this free agent edition, episode 15. I had to be solo tonight. I want to send a shout out to my guy Chuck for producing the background. You guys check out our other shows on KingdomCast. There's the Red Shirt Podcast ran by DG and Trey. There's also Tell the Truth by DG, CJ, and D-Mac. Check those guys out. Also check out the main KingdomCast flagship show with Country and Chuck on Thursdays. Some people might ask me when you be back. I don't know. I might hop in on one of them. There's also Robert and Country's show covering the WWE. As y'all know, WrestleMania is coming up. You guys been seeing on WrestleMania on the YouTube site. They're showing the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Before I got on here, I just watched the Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 21 matchup. That was one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I mean, people talk about The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, but that one's one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion, man. And yeah, man, I'm Attitude Era kid and also Ruthless Aggression Era kid. But other than that, man, y'all know what to do. Subscribe to KingdomCast here on YouTube. Check us out also on X and also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. And we're also have this on the Apple Podcast and everywhere else. But other than that, everybody, I want to say thank you for joining me on this episode. And until then, I'll catch y'all next time. And remember, go Chiefs. Peace out, everybody.